Prices are going up so fast, it's no longer possible to save any money.
Today's economy, with everything from grocery prices to the cost of insurance on your home, everything going up very, very quickly, it does seem a little daunting and to a lot of people somewhat impossible to keep ahead of that curve and to continue to save money. We totally get it. One of our major bills just came a few weeks ago, and it went up 35%. It was an annual insurance bill. So we had to completely reconfigure the second half of our budget for 2024.
Yes.
We did a video on it and showed you exactly what we did. We showed you all of our real budget numbers and how we made some adjustments. And I'm going to make sure, guys, that video is linked up above and in the description of this video. But I mention it because it is that video that sort of made us want to do this video. We got a lot of comments from people saying, I get what you did, but I don't understand how you started on this path. What did you do in order to prepare yourself? Because we were ready. We knew exactly where there were areas of our budget that we could cut. And so we thought it would be super helpful to just sort of give you the game plan. What is it that we have done over the years that has helped us to prepare for unexpected economic downturns and to know what the next step is?
If you don't know us, I'm Larry.
I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where every week we bring you videos on practical frugality.
The first point really should go without saying, but we need to say it.
Yes.
You need to make sure that you have a written budget, that you're living on it, and that you're tracking all of your income and all of your expenses. I think in past times, especially when people feel like they have plenty of money to get from one month to the next, you get a little bit lazy on doing this task that is so ultra important. And then when downturns happen and stuff starts costing more, then you don't have a handle on where your money's coming in and where it's going.
Use a spreadsheet to document each one of your categories, how much you have budgeted for each one, and how much you've spent during the month. That will help you track exactly what you're doing.
There's free online programs we use for our daily expenses. We use Dave Ramsey's free version of Every Dollar. We have our own spreadsheets that I created that help us do monthly comparisons across the entire year to show us where our money is coming and going. If you want our spreadsheets, they're available. And I'm going to make sure that there's a link to those spreadsheets that are in the Frugal Finance Planner. I'll leave that link, guys, also in the description of the video in case you want to take a look.
Without a written record, you can't see exactly where your money is going. You have no way of tracking exactly what you're doing with it. And there's no way then that you can make a plan to help your family out in order to save some money and conserve what it is that's coming in.
This next point also should go without saying, but if you are in debt, now is the time to pay it off.
Yes.
Two major methodologies of paying off debt. One is the snowball method, where you list all of the money that you owe in order from the least amount of money owed to the most amount of money owed, and you start from the top and work your way down toward the bottom. That is the method that we used years and years ago when we were in debt in order to pay off our debt and become debt-free. There's also the avalanche method, where you sort of ignore the amount that's owed. You pay strict attention to the amount that you are paying in interest every single month. That interest rate is what is important to you. The debts with the highest interest rate go at the top of your list. You start with the highest interest rates and work your way down to the lowest interest rates. Honestly, here's the truth. Both work. They both work, guys. Pick one and stick to it. Now, if you're in a position where you're starting to get a handle on what's coming in, what's going out, and you're thinking there's a whole lot more going out than I wished was going out, and you need help figuring out where you can cut back on your budget, we totally understand that. We also have been there, and I wrote an ebook about it. It's a free ebook. It's 10 ways to radically reduce your expenses. There's step-by-step instructions and also checklists for each point. I'm going to make sure that that free resource, guys, you guessed it, it's listed in the description of the video.
Step number 2 is Hope's favorite word: prioritize your spending. That will help you put the most important items at the very top of the list and the least important at the bottom. It's those bottom listings that you can work with to eliminate or adjust because they're not quite as important as the ones that are on the top.
We prioritize every single category in our budget, and that is how we knew when we got the bill that was 35% more exactly where we could go in that budget to find the money in order to cover that overage.
Another good reason to prioritize your budget is to assist you in setting very good specific goals that you need to meet. You can't see those goals as well until you prioritize that budget.
The next tip is one that we have never, ever, I don't think, mentioned on the channel, but it is something that we do every single year. And it was super helpful in us figuring out where to cut back in our budget for the rest of 2024. When we create our yearly budget, we have all the budget categories down one side of the spreadsheet. And remember, if you want our spreadsheets, you can get those for yourself. We have all of our budget categories. We have the monthly amount allotted for each category, what we will spend yearly, and right next to that on our spreadsheet, we put what is called our BBB.
Bare bones budget.
This is what if everything falls apart and everything blows up. Stuff hits the van. What can be cut? What can be eliminated in that budget? So right next to it, there's an extra column on our spreadsheet that we put down. This is the bare bones budget. What if we had to severely cut back? So we already knew going into 2024 where those areas were that we could cut back. Try it, because for us, this has been super helpful every single year. For one thing, when you set your budget at the beginning of the year, it helps you figure out what is truly necessary in your budget.
Step 3 really makes sense to me, and that's shop around and make sure you're getting the best deal on whatever it is that you're going to purchase. You not only can shop around, you can try different services for a short period of time. Sometimes they allow you a 30-day trial for free. They don't charge you anything, so that'll give you some time to be able to survey what's out there. And there are so many different plans you can go with that are much cheaper than cable TV.
And there are a lot of your monthly bills that are negotiable. People just don't realize that those bills are negotiable. First thing that comes to mind, cell phone plans.
Absolutely.
You know why it comes to mind first? Because for years, we totally overpaid for our cell phone plan.
Did we ever?
But we liked the service, and we just didn't know what else to do. Then a friend of ours started talking about Mint Mobile and raving about her experience with Mint Mobile. And so we called Mint Mobile, we checked them out, and then let me tell you something, we thanked her later for that really great tip. We switched to Mint 2 years ago. Mint Mobile, by the way, is our partner for this video. Switching to Mint, guys, it was super duper easy. We used an eSIM card, and then we sat on our couch and we drank coffee for about 15 minutes, and 15 minutes later, everything was switched over to Mint Mobile. Seriously, that's how easy it was, and we got to keep our cell phone numbers that we already had. Our kids, their cell phones did not have eSIM capability, so Mint sent them a free physical SIM card in the mail, and they also switched to Mint Mobile. I manage all of our family's accounts in one really easy centralized hub. It's called Mint Modern Family, so you might want to check that out as well. Mint Mobile, $15 a month is what we pay for our cell phone service. Now, if you want to check out Mint Mobile, you want to click on that QR code that is right between us right there on the screen, or you want to make sure that you use our special link. It's right down there at the bottom of the screen. It is mintmobile.com/under the median. And also there is a link, handy link, all the way at the top of the description of this video. Mint Mobile has 3 things that we really, really like. We appreciate the fact that we get unlimited talk and text because we use it a lot. We have grown kids that we text frequently, as well as other family members and friends. They do have the nation's largest 5G network. And then they also, as we mentioned, were super duper easy to switch to. So check out Mint Mobile. Thanks to Mint Mobile for partnering with us on this video. Step number 4 that you want to take is equally important as the first 3 that we have mentioned.
And that is to find some areas of flexibility within your budget. Now, these are areas that you can easily reduce or do less spending in. And you can take those areas and add that amount of money to anything that you might be going over in a category. That helps you to keep everything balanced out.
If you're having trouble finding those areas of flexibility in your budget, here is something that we do frequently, and it is really helpful. Do our 10% challenge.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of viewers do it and say that they went through their budget, did the challenge, and found those areas of flexibility. What is the 10% challenge, and how do you do it?
The first time we ever used the 10% challenge, we used it in order to save up money to pay cash on the house that we're currently living in. You take your budget categories and you want to cut each one by 10%. This will help you save a lot of money and reduce how much you have to spend.
The reason we did 10% is because 10% is not that much. It's not that big of a leap to find 10% savings in your budget category. Some are a little bit easier than others, but overall, you're going to find generally that there are several $100s hidden in your budget that you had absolutely no idea was in there.
Here's something along with the 10% challenge that we haven't talked about, and that's our what if discussions. Hope and I will sit down and say, what if this happens? How does this affect this category of the budget? And what do we do to make the what if happen if we need to? So we go through and try to discuss different what if scenarios. And that might be based on news reports or something that we've read in a finance document that we need to do some work on. Right now we're working on our water budget because we know it's going up by, isn't it 30%?
It's 42%. It's
Oh
not
my
a
gosh.
what if anymore. It is going to go up. So
Yeah.
we're working on that right now.
That's right. It's not a what if. It's happening. So that's an example of what you can do to get ready and prepare ahead of time for things that could happen.
I think a great example of when we did this one time was when gas prices were going way up.
Oh, yeah.
And so we sat down and said, what if gas goes to $5 a gallon? What if it goes to $7.50 a gallon? What if it goes to $10 a gallon? And we had a strategy all figured out for those what if situations. The reason we're telling you to do these things is, first of all, they don't take a lot of time to do. And secondly, they will take kind of the panic, the fear factor out of situations when they come up, because you'll go, wait a minute, this is familiar.
We've been through it.
We've been through it because we've already talked about it.
Planned
and
about
we
it.
already have a plan figured out.
That's right.
Once you've got that figured out, you're going to be able to plan and not panic.
That's right. That is the main focus that we want to make sure that we're portraying on this channel, is that we're all about planning and not about panicking.
The next step is to track the small amounts that you spend. Now, this is in here because all of us included, get really comfortable in our budgets, and we start going to the store and spending $5 here, $10 there.
Oh, yeah.
$20 there. and we go, well, it's just not that much money. It's not going to make that big of a difference. I'm not going to write it down. Once you start doing that, is a slippery slope, my friend.
Very slippery.
And you could be spending well over $100 a month and not even realize that that is slipping through the cracks.
One more statement I just want to make concerning small amounts. We've talked about this a lot and in many, many videos, how a lot of small amounts can add up very quickly to a large amount. And that is the best way to save your money, is to track those small amounts and eliminate them. And anything that you do, if you get rid of the small stuff, then you have money for the big stuff. It is a great strategy to use in frugal budgeting.
Great example. We just talked about this in a video in the last couple of weeks, how we started lowering our utility costs because it was going to be way too high of a bill, so we started cutting back.
On every little thing.
It was $2.40 a day that we were saving.
Yeah.
And sure enough, somebody in the comments said, $2.40 a day. That just hardly seems like anything to me. If you want to send me $2.40 a day for the next 365 days, I am all about it, my friend.
Yes.
Because you're going to wind up sending me over $700.
Think about that.
That $2.40 a day doesn't seem like much until you multiply it by 365 days in the year. So think about that. Small amounts really do make a difference.
They do. Step number 6, establish money-saving routines. Remember that saving money has to be a habit. Once you start it and you apply it about 7 times or more, it does become a habit. In fact, then it becomes hard to break. So this is a very important thing to establish as you're going through in order to have extra money in your budget to apply toward different things.
This is muscle memory, guys.
Yeah.
This is your body knowing exactly what it's supposed to do when you get home from the grocery store. Oh, we upload that receipt to Fetch, and then we make sure we go into every dollar and record it in every dollar.
Yeah.
Then at the end of the month, we make sure that we take all of the amounts of money from every dollar and we transfer it to that monthly sheet. Then we compare everything every quarter to make sure that we're still on track. Once you have done those tasks a number of times, it becomes muscle memory and you automatically do it. Here's the other thing that becomes automatic. When things go a little bit upside down, you go, wait a minute, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And you go right back to that muscle memory that you've created.
Yeah. The key to rebalancing your budget is finding areas in that budget where you can make key adjustments.
And as we mentioned, we just had to do this. We just had to make not one, but several key adjustments to our own budget for the remainder of 2024. Now, if you missed that video, you might find it super helpful. It's almost like a part 2 of this video.
It is, actually.
Only we did it before this part of the video, but you get the idea. That's going to kind of fill in some of the missing blanks from this video, and it's going to show you our real budget numbers, give you even more tips and strategies for rebalancing your budget as prices continue to increase. The video is right over there.